Bears. Go back to Thursday night, Vikings. You may have covered it on Friday when I wasn't here. I'm not going to include. Oh, that's right. That would be weird. I'm not going to include the Texans and the Cardinals because, obvious reasons. And then going into tonight, we have the Steelers and the Panthers, who could be 0-2. Yep. So that leaves 6 teams: Patriots, Chargers, Broncos, Bengals, Vikings, Bears. Who are you worried about? Okay. Most worried about?
All right. I'm going to tell you who I'm most – I'll tell you the answer. I was most worried about Cincinnati, Michael, because that's my Super Bowl.
But you changed your mind?
I'm wondering –
You changed your mind to the Chargers now after hearing Brandon Staley?
Yeah, but see, let me just say about Brandon Staley. What do you say? What's the line? We've all heard it before. We've heard it many times. Hit dogs do what? Hit dogs do what?
Hit dogs holler.
Okay, they holler. And it's on his mind. It may have been an inappropriate question. It may not even be fully true. But it has some particles of truth in it. Because if it didn't, Brandon Staley wouldn't have responded that way. That's been on his mind. That's been on his heart, Mike. That's in his chest. And he was just waiting for anybody, to ask him so he could get that off. But it is connected in a way. But, okay, the Chargers, I'm not worried about the Chargers only because I didn't have them as one of my favorites in the conference anyway. But the Bengals, I thought the Bengals were going to be the best team. I'm talking in the past tense, only because they're 0-2. I'm not writing them off, but I thought they were going to be the best team in the conference. Picked them to go to the Super Bowl and win it. They still could do it. But I'm starting to wonder about Cincinnati, not just 0-2, but did you bring Joe Burrow back because you felt like you needed that? Did you need that at the start of the season? Joe Burrow looks like a guy to me. That needed 4 more games. I'm not saying 2. I'm saying 4 more games just to get himself right and then come back, and you hope that you're a good organization
like Jamar,
now.
Didn't Jamar Chase say this? Like Jamar Chase, see you week 5? Wasn't that what he said?
Yeah.
Isn't that what Jamar Chase said?
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey. You're a good organization. You weren't always, but you are now. If you're a good organization, you should be able to go 2-2. Go 2-2. Stay afloat with the 4-game absence of Joe Burrow. So I'm worried about them, not just because of their record, because you win a game and everybody feels good. I'm worried about that guy. How's he doing? Was he ready to play the season when they put him out there? He didn't look right last week against the Browns either. Whether they won that game or not, he didn't look right. And now he's re-aggravated his calf. That is the big story for me. Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Okay.
In that order.
All right, so that's your big 0-2 story. Got you. All right, so process of elimination, if I may. Patriots 0-2 for the first time since 2001, since you and I were sharing a press box. But you know what? It was against the Eagles and the Dolphins. They lost them for different reasons, but I'm not panicked about the Patriots. And maybe that has more to do with my lack of expectations for the Patriots. I don't know, but I'm not panicked about the Patriots. Well, but I'm enjoying it. Okay, well, but you know what? More of Bill Belichick slamming down his challenge flag. More of Bill Belichick reinventing the kick block. You know what I mean? So there's highlights in spite of it. Why didn't anybody think of that before? You know what I mean? Like a running start to block a kick. Dope. Of course.
That was a dope play.
That
was dope.
Oh my God.
That was dope. He tied it up too.
You know what I mean?
Come off the edge. Coming off the edge
right.
like the kick blocking Lawrence Taylor.
I'm here for the oop-de-oop to Billy Bob, a.k.a. Cole Strange. I'm okay with the Patriots 0-2 start, okay? I've seen worse, all right?
Yeah.
The Chargers, who we just finished talking about, this is a cool stat, except if you're a Chargers fan or a member of the Chargers organization. 33rd team in the Super Bowl era. Have you seen this stat? 33rd team in the Super Bowl era with 50 or more points and no turnovers through 2 games. They're the only team to start 0-2. Which tells me,
that's cool.
as usual, the Chargers are better than their record would indicate. But Parcells says you are what your record says you are. So that's the Chargers. The Broncos, Russell Wilson is who he is, and he isn't who he isn't. Okay? I'm not shocked that Sean Payton is already frustrated with Russell Wilson, because you know what? That's Sean Payton and that's Russell Wilson. They blew it to the Commanders, who I'm more impressed by than I am concerned about the Broncos. Didn't have high expectations for them either. Bengals, because the window is Joe Burrow's career, and they started 0-2 last year, and I know it's a different year. Not worried about them yet. Not yet. Okay. Not yet. Your points were all valid. But just not yet. Not yet. Okay. The Vikings, speaking of turnovers, have lost 6 fumbles. I think they're better than their record would indicate. They've lost 6 fumbles. Okay, which leaves the one team that I am actually concerned about. And no, I do not roster Justin Fields on my dynasty team. I'm worried about the Bears, man. I'm worried about the Bears. Because, again, and not that I thought they would be a playoff team, but I thought they would take a step forward. Instead, it seems like we're seeing regression. Like, this is how it starts. This is how it goes with young quarterbacks. They come in and they're drafted by an organization that's not properly, set up to develop them. And then, all right, out goes one coach, okay? And then another one comes in, another regime comes in that didn't draft you. And they say, okay, we're going to commit to you, though. And then you struggle. And then it's like, okay, now it's CYA mode. And you don't take that step forward. They go out and they get you a wide receiver the caliber of a DJ Moore. And you don't hit the ground running. Literally, you don't run. Like what he did great last year was running. We're not even seeing those explosive running plays from Justin Fields. And I'm not saying it's all Justin Fields. The coordinators bear some responsibility. You know, the team, the offensive line, yada, yada, yada. But this was about Justin Fields progressing. Instead, he's looking like Mac Jones last year and regressing. And so how bad does it get in Chicago? You worked there. You literally had a cup of coffee in Chicago. You know how quickly the winds can change in the Windy City in Chicago, especially when it comes to that damn quarterback position that they've yet to figure out since Luckman. They got the worst luck since Luckman when it comes to quarterbacks.
Hey, listen. We need to
shout out to Jim McMahon.
Citation. You need a citation, works cited at the end of Brother from Another, because somebody was like, Luckman, who the hell he does? What Luckman?
Exactly.
Who's he?
I know, right?
Who he play? Who he play for? Luckman.
Luckman.
So, you're right.
So
they haven't. You're right. They haven't had this quarterback position settled in a long time.
So it's like,
in a very, very
are we
long
headed down that path again? And does this? A lot of time we talk about with quarterbacks. It's where you're drafted. It's the situation in which you're drafted into. It's how you manage, how you developed. Maybe he ain't got it, or maybe the Bears ain't got it in him and bring out whatever he's got in him. I don't know. But it's just, I'm discouraged and I'm concerned about what I have seen or have not seen from Justin Fields through 2 games.
But I'm just surprised that you would go there. Now, I understand all your points there with the Bears.
Because of macro. I'm looking at it from a macro perspective.
Yeah, but macro point.
Like everybody else is like,
But with them, all the things that you're looking for from Justin Fields could be there and probably are there. But I would at least expect it from this type of organization and its point of development, where it's probably ebb and flow. They'll go forward a little bit, they'll drop down, and then they'll have their big spurt. Okay, here's a perfect example. This team's out 0-2. This team is now 1-1. But think about Detroit. Think about Detroit, which is now in year 3 of its turnaround program. So Detroit last year, this time last year,
take a step forward.
That was not this time last year, Detroit was not the team for a brother from another, because in November they were bad. Okay, in November they were bad. They won like a game or 2.
That's fair.
And then they finished with that 8-2 kick, and everybody start hyping them up, and they get themselves on the opener against Kansas City and win it. So I think the Bears are probably a few weeks away from showing whatever they have. Now, question is, do they have it?
Right.
Do they have it? Do you think they have it? I do. I think Justin Fields has something. I know DJ Moore's got something. I know that.
Yeah.
And I like the additions that they made now. Ryan Poles did a really good job in the offseason spending the available money well on free agents so well, Michael, that he's still got money left over. Like you send your kids off to the store and they come back, how much money you got left? Nothing. They went to the store. Yeah, wait, what change?
Yeah.
Okay, bring my receipt back the next time. I know there's some change. I want to see what you bought. But he went off. He spent a lot in the offseason, and he still has room to make some moves. So I think Chicago, we'll see it probably at the end of this month, beginning of next month. But I'm surprised you're not concerned about the 0-2 Bengals or the 0-2 Vikings.
Only because, well, like I said, the Vikings, like I think they're going to stop turning it over. I think, and I've seen, in both those losses, they were funky. I was just at the Thursday one against the Eagles. They were both funky, and they're not as good. They're not 13-win good, but they're not 0-2 bad either. I don't think. And who else you said? Oh, the Bengals. Well, because of Burrow. And again, not because, just because you did it last year don't mean you're going to do it this year. But maybe our Super Bowl picks were wrong. Maybe that ship has sailed. But I don't think I don't think the bottom's coming out of that organization. I don't think they're going to have a down year. They'll still be in the mix at the end of the season, although it's a very difficult division. And what the Bears have going for them is nobody's running away and hiding, or at least doesn't seem equipped to run away and hide in the NFC North. But what I'm saying about Fields is I just worry that he's going to be the next guy, because we talked about this during the 2021 draft, which was all of them ain't going to work out. That's just the way it works. Like, not every quarterback in that first round is going to hit. That's what history tells us. So is Justin Fields going to have to go the way of, a Baker Mayfield, who is obviously turned into a journeyman, but he is now docked in Tampa, the 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and here's their fearless leader, your guy, Baker Mayfield.
There was a couple times today where you should have been sacked and you find your way out of it. For you personally, do you sort of relish plays like that in terms of, like, it fires guys up? Yeah,
I mean, it's fun to, obviously if it turns out well. But yeah, it fires them up knowing that even if a lineman gets beat a little bit, we still have a chance. And our guys are going to continue to work in the scramble drill aspect, and we're going to have a lot of big plays when it comes down to that. And yeah, we just need to capitalize. And yeah, I'm pretty dense back there, so it's quite the load to take down.
Baker's given great press conference over the years. I'll say that.
He has.
What are you saying? I peeked at your feed. What are you talking about? I told you so. What you talking about? Me telling you? You telling me? You telling them? Like, what you talking about? What you talking about? I told you so.
Oh, listen. I told you. I think I once had a feed item that said I haven't caped up this hard for Mayfield since Curtis. Hey man, Baker's my dude. Baker was in a bad situation.
Which
Cleveland,
one?
And that.
Okay.
The worst one.
Okay.
The worst one.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I don't know. You talk about quarterbacks not finding a good quarterback since Luckman. Browns haven't had one since Sipe. Okay. Or maybe Graham.
Well,
okay.
No, come on, man. Don't shit on Bernie. Come on, man.
Bernie. Shout out Bernie. Sorry, Bernie.
I once scored 91 points in a Tecmo Bowl game with Bernie Kosar. Don't sleep.
Did you really? Who were you playing against?
91. The computer. 91.
Okay. CPU's come a long way.
I used to come long stats on Tecmo Bowl. This is you talking about come a long way. This is how nerdy I was. This is why I was destined to do this. I used to count my own stats on Tecmo Bowl. You kids got Madden to count the stats for you. OGs counted their own stats on Tecmo Bowl for the whole season.
Wait a minute.
Every play down.
Drive started at the 24.
Exactly. Minus 24.
Check down. Check down
6-yard run by Kevin Mack.
Biner.
Right. 10-yard run by Ernest Biner. 30-yard pass to Webster Slaughter. Absolutely.
Webster on the slant. Webster Slaughter. Brian Brennan. Come on now. Shout out. Old Browns. Could never get it done. It's too bad.
Interception by Minifield and Dixon. All right, go ahead. Keep going about Baker Mayfield, though.
But look, the Cleveland Browns, we know they haven't done quarterbacking well. They haven't done quarterbacking well since their return to Cleveland in 1999. So Baker Mayfield, it's not just the position, it's the organization. And I'm still not sure the organization has gotten it right. He got there, he made some mistakes, I know it. But he never was as bad as they made him out to be at the end. And I use that term
he was also
intentionally.
hurt.
Yeah, he played hurt. He played hurt. I use that term intentionally, quarterbacking, because some people use that term adulting. And the Browns accused him of not doing adulting well.
The adult in the room, the infamous adult in the room report. I remember that, yeah.
And now, now that he's out of there, I think, and not Carolina. Carolina was like a little blip. I think the Rams experience did wonders for his confidence. That first game,
dude, coming off, I was there. Rams, coming off a plane, coming off a plane, not like barely unpacked and beat the Raiders in prime time. That was my highlight of the season last year.
I love that.
Incredible.
And then just having, and it's an unintentional benefit. You know, sometimes you find yourself in a different situation or different situations in one year. You say, this is not what I signed up for, but what it allows you to do is understand how other people conduct their business. He had a brief dalliance with Sean McVay. He got to see how that works. And I think now he's just a different, humbled guy in Tampa Bay. He is a good quarterback. There's a reason they took him #1 overall. It was not a mistake. And I think you can do some pretty good things with Baker Mayfield. I didn't pick them to win the division. I hope they do. I hope I'm wrong. I picked Atlanta. But I can see Baker Mayfield having a nice comeback player of the year type of season. I'm so happy he's 2-0.
I thought he could do something like this. Not necessarily 2-0, but I thought he could do something like this. A lot of people in the fantasy football community were looking for this year's Geno Smith. And Baker fit the bill in terms of, okay, wait a second. A pretty good defense when healthy. Great skill guys. A team that just, needed some quarterback stability with the retirement of Tom Brady. And shout out to Ty Bowles. It's another guy that was like under fire. I know the season got a long way to go. The ship could still sink. But for the time being, it's like Ty Bowles is somebody people are looking at like, oh, is he funny in the light? Now that Bruce Arians is gone, given how last year went. And, shout out to them. But you mentioned the Falcons. I'll ask you this. Who is your favorite? Because we could go impressive, which would probably be the Cowboys. Say what you want about who they played. 70-10 is 70-10. I could say who is your most impressive 2-0 team. I could say who is your biggest surprise. But I'll just say who's your favorite 2-0 team. So, I mean, that eliminates people like, the Cowboys, the Eagles,
I got it for you.
The Niners, not the usual suspects. You know what I mean? Who's your favorite 2-0 team?
I'm going to do it like we used to do in basketball. You give me a pass, and I go no look. I just tap it to you for an easy assist. That never happened. I was never that good of a basketball player. But I'm going to take this and give it right back to you and say my favorite 2-0 story is a commanding story. It's a commanding story. Go ahead, Sam Howell. Go ahead, Eric Bieniemy. Go ahead, Washington.
Speak on it.
Look, it's so good. You would think the story would be good enough if coming to the 2023 season, Commanders fans learn that Daniel Snyder sold the team. That would be enough. We don't have to win a game. Daniel Snyder's gone. But wait. But God. Okay?
Are you a believer?
There you go. I'm a believer.
Because the only person I sweat more than Sam Howell is Brock Purdy. Like I told you, Sam, I was saying last year, why are these fools fooling around with Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke? Why are they fooling around with them? Why, like, your quarterback is sitting there. I was like, and once y'all put him in, he ain't coming out. And they waited till the last game of the season, like,
and they gave him the job.
Sam Howell,
they just gave it to him. It was like,
when they ain't give it to him, they made him compete. They made him compete with Jacoby Brissett. But that team could make some noise, man. Like, that division, that division is stacked. No, I mean, Jacoby, Uncle could play now. Uncle give you a run for your money. But it was like, look, I know they wanted him to win the job, but still, it was a competition as much as there was a competition around the league.
I thought we were being real.
Kyle Trask.
I thought we were being real.
Wasn't Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
But but like, that's a tough division, but that's a talented roster, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And the skill side for that matter. Like Brian Rock, just a lot of great stories. I
love it.
But hey, what y'all gonna say about Eric Bieniemy when Sam Howell lead him to the playoffs? Y'all gonna say Andy Reid was calling plays too? It was Andy Reid calling players from afar. I'm asking for a friend. How's that going to work? How's that going to work?
Who's he talking?
Right.
Who's he talking to anyway in that headset? Who's he talking to? Like Andy can't coach his team and Eric's. He doesn't have what it takes. Ron Rivera's an offensive guy. Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.